if it's going to go back together. Been working on this 2012 Chevy Traverse, and so many questions for GM. You seen in the 2018 Equinox when I swapped the motor in it, how terrible and useless that motor was. As far as the 1.5 liters go, it's a 3.6, and this thing is not. It's not a great motor, great design at all. I think they executed it, as far as like getting everything dialed in a rear suspension. I think they did a pretty decent job on that. But as far as the rest of the drivetrain setup, I think they could have done a little bit better engineering. But I like the idea of the engineers wake up and, I want some technician to fuck my wife. You know, I know that's not necessarily what somebody wants to hear when they jump on here, but I think I think it's what it boils down to. I mean, like, why GM made the 3.6 liter. Your oil fill is up there. Yeah, focus. Right there. Your oil filter's here. Your starter's back there. And your motor mount to replace the starter without doing all this stuff that I did. You gotta pull this thing out. It's an 18 up here, 18 down there, and 13s or 15s, I can't remember. Around this bracket, there's 4 total. There's one there you can get access to. I think it's right there, and then one right up here. While you're doing this job, yes, this thing is dirty because everywhere else is dirty. It's not an ideal situation. It's like, check the bearing. Oh, that one's good. I was worried that this was going to be shot. Usually these are, I don't hear any noises coming out of that, so that makes me feel better. I'm going to check all these pulleys and whatnot, make sure they're going good. If you're doing this job, I'd highly recommend not taking on this job. It's not an ideal situation. I think Chevy could have done a lot better. I think we could all learn a thing or two doing this job. There's so many different oil leaks. I got an oil leak coming from the transmission side. I might leave that one alone, maybe. I know that one looks like it's pretty boogered up. When I go back to the junkyard tomorrow, I'm going to pull that line and probably that line from the I'm confused. But this transmission line that goes to the top, it could be a return. I don't really know. But as far as AC stuff goes, I think this is I don't really like the design of it. I'm not a big GM guy, but it seems like I'm always working on a GM. I'm doing all right. How about yourself, buddy? So, if you ever get a 3.6 liter GM product from 08 to 17 on the Traverses or Acadias, maybe the Saturns and the Buicks Enclaves. I don't know the model of the Saturns, but I think they're pretty much the same setup. I could be wrong, but on the Buicks, the body styles are completely different, but the engines, I do believe, are the same. Don't quote me on that, but if you have for sure 100% on a 2009 to 2012 GMC Acadia, it don't matter if it's all-wheel drive or whatever. I don't think it would. Or front wheel drive. It's obviously it's all front wheel drive setup, but your bolts and stuff for your AC is right here. And that's pretty good, Rick. Ricky Ricks. Glad you're doing good, man. I'm glad you're doing good. Sorry, I'm just kind of pointing out some bad design on GM's part. I mean, I could go on and on about that hunk of junk over there that you paid way too much for, and you can't get a fraction of what you paid for it out of it. I think GM could have done a little bit better in engineering. A lot of these newer stuff from the big three, they kind of outsource stuff from overseas. Granted, some stuff is still manufactured here in the U.S., but a lot of stuff is not, unfortunately, especially in like 2015 to 2017 era. That's when they were heavily starting to do manufacturing overseas for a lot of components, especially the pickups. If I can afford one of them Hellcat motors, bub. Actually, I thought about getting rid of this thing and trying to get what I can get out of it. I'm going to clean this engine up, get it a lot better. But this AC compressor is pretty smoked. That's what I was actually replacing and waiting on a new one to come in tomorrow. You got that right. Common sense is definitely not in the manufacturing world anymore. It's about, like I stated in the beginning of the video, and excuse my language, is engineers are probably like, I want someone to screw my wife. I want a technician to screw my wife because I'm done feel like I'm better than everybody and I'm going to make this thing 10 times harder. And that's why a lot of people don't want to be technicians anymore. They don't pay as good as it used to be because you're having to deal with this crap. That AC line technician told me this was good, that one was bad, that was a $22 line. That line right there, you cannot get from GM, or you can't get anywhere but GM. And it was leaking right there because there's a hole right here where it rubs. You can see right there a little divot, but it rubs along inside here. This could be tweaked a little bit from where it was hit, but I'm not too concerned about it. Unfortunately, that's what I've been hearing. Those AC compressors were, I was actually at Junkyard today getting to see if that AC line would work. I wasn't 100% sure because I didn't get a good picture of the back end over there on that small tab that goes for the rear. The guy was pulling engine out of a newer Acadia. I think it was like a 17 or 15. And I was looking at the AC compressor, and it was pretty much shot on its way out. And he was like, yep, I don't think I found a good one yet that I pulled out of these. And I've pulled probably at least over 100 since I've been here in the last 5 years, if not more. So AC compressor, I think a lot of it has to do with the placement of the oil filter and the placement of the drain. So this could very well have a valve cover leak, but I don't see anything else leaking, and on the backside I didn't notice any leaks on the backside. So that could be just where people's dumping oil in there and then overfilling, whatever. And it gets on your main components like your alternator, your AC compressor and whatnot. I think it's not this thing's got leaks everywhere. I mean, it's a 145,000 mile vehicle. I think GM could have done a little bit better engineering. As far as suspension on the rear, I think they did pretty good on that, in my opinion. I think they did pretty decent as far as everything's laid out when I done brakes on someone else's car. Same part numbers and stuff for the brakes and calipers, or like pads and rotors, on this, and same as a 2016, I do believe. This is 2012. So you can pull off pads and rotors if you got junkyard from anything up to a 2017. Even if you got a 2008 or 2009, you should be able to work on that. I appreciate you, Ricky Rick, man. But I think they did a decent design. I don't know what the hell is going back here with this exhaust pipe. Somebody definitely had it. I had when I got this thing was there was so much stuff going on with it. And I thought about fixing her up, making it a decent family vehicle. Working on pulling the dash. Again, GM. There's one bolt that you can't get to unless you bust the window or pull it out. Unless there's a fancy tool, which there probably is, that you can get to that. I think I'm going to degrease this thing and let it soak whatever for a while, and then hit it again and then spray it off. I probably should go get a pressure washer or something. Help get all some of this grime and stuff to make it look a little bit more presentable underneath this engine. Yeah. It's unfortunately most manufacturers on this type of stuff, they don't give a crap, and it's like to do the AC stuff on this was like $1,900, and that was just replacing that $20 line in the AC compressor and recharging it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not paying $1,900. That was not even from the dealer either. It was from a local shop. I was like, that's no way. I mean, they were a big corporate too, but that's absurd to pay that much for almost half of what the vehicle is probably worth, honestly, to put a new AC system in it. So it burnt up on me about a week or so ago, and I was scared to drive it. I mean, I was driven scarier things, but just kind of get good test miles, and I got a decent, pretty good paying job, so I can't just drive this thing to work and it mess up on me. But I knew it was a compressor. I just didn't want to spend the money on it. No, the engine's still in the car. Everything's still here. I pulled the radiator because I'm replacing the condenser, which is right here, because the new one, the kit that I got come with this. So I'm just replacing that and make it easier, because you can't really fish your hands in there. I mean, you could, but you spend more time. Granted, I did spend a lot more time pulling everything apart, but also I needed to see what I was looking at and kind of get a better idea of what needed to be replaced, because I'm replacing that line, which I got to pull from another vehicle, and then a new one's coming in tomorrow for that one. But it's a long story on this car. Bought this thing for $675. I got new rotors and stuff coming in. Probably gonna end up pulling I don't like doing the idea of doing used calipers off another vehicle, but they are like a lot better shape. I don't know if this thing was just sitting, I mean, this thing was sitting in some tall weeds for a few months since February, and I got it back in July. So, and crazy thing is, I got a new line coming in for this one. This is the $22 line from Rock Auto. I don't know what brand it is, but I'm going back to the junkyard tomorrow when they open to get this one, and hopefully I can fish this thing back in there, because this is not how it's actually laid out. Little tab here, bolts right here, and then like it curls up and it curls back down. The second tab goes here, and there's another tab there. which is this tab goes on that first one. That's on the second one underneath the fuse control thing where the power goes to. That one goes to the firewall. That goes to the rear, and that goes to the behind in the firewall to the front. So this is a rear. This is a suction line. So this goes to the rear setup for the rear HVAC. And this goes to the one that's underneath the dash. Story behind this thing, I was actually looking at a 2011 Chevy Aveo, A-V-E-O. The head gasket was blown on that thing, and it was just really, really rough around the edges for the most part. And I feel like this had a little bit more value. Essentially, I could probably sell this thing, get it cleaned up. Obviously, I never sell a vehicle with junk brakes and stuff, because I'd like to know that if somebody's buying it for their family, they don't have to worry about that. And if AC stuff's not working, I try to fix the AC stuff before I sell anything, especially if I know it's going to like a family, or whatever. I got a buddy that actually helps out a family that fosters kids and stuff like that. And me and him kind of piggyback and going over there and working on their vehicles and stuff whenever they need help. And he usually pays for everything. He'll pay me to go over there to do it, and they don't have to worry about stuff. He's done a lot of stuff for them. And eventually, once I get a little bit more bigger, like far as platform goes, the growing, I like to buy like a decent rig. Like this one's a pretty decent rig inside and out. It's not like terrible condition. Seats are in phenomenal condition. DVD thing works. So I thought about keeping it for the family, where I do have a newborn and I have 3 other kids. This would be a great family rig, especially keeping the other 3 occupied on road trips and whatnot. But I'm not made out of money. Unfortunately, I didn't come from wealth. I come from learning how to do your own stuff and improvising with what you have and not having to worry about anything. But that's what makes some people humble, I guess. But inside's pretty clean. I mean, it was a little dirty and stuff. I had it detailed. I might have another shop detail it, clay bar it, buff it out a little bit, bring that paint back out. I mean, it's not a perfect vehicle, but for $145,000, I threw a starter in it, changed the oil. And it's literally, other than what I'm doing now, is what I put into it. I think I'm total with the new battery and AC stuff that's coming in. I think I might be in it $1,500, maybe a little over 17 at most into it. That's buying the car and getting what I ordered for it. And realistically, if I come out here and scrub it or get a pressure washer or something, I can clean this up, make it look a lot better than what it is, and get close to 5 out of it. Yeah, man. Sorry. Yeah, it's a 2012 Traverse, all-wheel drive. Like I said, it's no like super clean vehicle, but I mean, it is for what it is, the year and stuff. It's not a terrible car. I'm getting my dirty fingerprints all over this thing, but everything works other than the sound. That's what I've been working on, trying to replace the amplifier. It's right back there. I don't know if you can see it. The thing with the fins, that's the amplifier. There's three bolts, and you can get to 2 of them. The top one is way on top, and you can't get nothing in there. I haven't really tried messing with it, but I think Chevy could have done a little bit better design stuff on this. I'm so used to, a bolt setup. I gotta get new keepers or whatever to go in there. I think I get them from the parts house. So, with that being said, I got to wrap this thing up. And I gotta go help my buddy out. I'm still waiting on parts anyway, so I'm gonna get it cleaned up and whatnot. But if you guys have any tips or tricks or whatnot of how to fish this damn thing back in there without mangling it and without pulling any more crap off, I might have to disconnect the harness that goes to the firewall right there. That's back here to help finagle this thing in. I might have to go through this way. I might have to disconnect some stuff, maybe this motor mount to put that back in. And then I'm working on this one because I'm trying to get it to where I can pull all the, replace all the seals that are up here. That way I don't have any leaks. And then I'm going to check the seals in the back as well that go up underneath the car. But let me know what y'all think of this, as far as the setup of the 3.6s go, and what year do you recommend if you were going to get a 3.6 and why? And if you're, what's your favorite? Don't have to be GM or Dodge or Ford or whatever. What's your favorite vehicle to work on and why? And why would you recommend that to someone like either kind of a DIY type person or someone that's maybe have some knowledge of understanding how to do stuff, or maybe they're learning and they're wanting to get their hands dirty a little bit and wrench on their own stuff? What would be a good starter vehicle for the way people, if they see this video? That's one thing that a lot of people say with the Hellcats. I appreciate you saying that, man. Chevy kind of died off with the Impalas. I don't know why. It's especially during the gas prices. Sorry if it's not a great face to look at here, but Chevy during the 06, 07, I think more so 06 than anything. Chevy did really good at producing those 3.8 liters. I had an 06 Pontiac Grand Prix GXP, I think, or I can't remember. It's G something. V6 supercharged. Granted, it wasn't popping a whole lot of power, but I don't know what year they killed off the Impala. I think they could have done a lot better, especially putting like the 6.2 in it. Something they put in like the Blackwing or their Cadillac models or supercharged models. I think they could have done killer setup. I know they had a V8 thing on the Impalas back in that year span. I don't know much more about anything older or newer than that because everybody I knew about 10 years ago and stuff had like those 06, 07, 09 Impalas. Actually, my wife's grandparents, they just got rid of their Impala. I want to say it was an LTZ model. It was like a 2009. I could be wrong on the year, but they ended up trading it for a 26 or 27 Equinox. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the Equinoxes. Now, if you do have the 3.6 in it, I think you did fairly well in a sense. I wouldn't say they're trash motors. They're easy, or I wouldn't say they're easy to work on either, but they're definitely more reliable than the 1.5. I'll tell you that. Now back to the SS model. If Chevy would have competed with, Dodge, trying to keep up with sedan and putting that supercharger in it, I think they could have made more sales. But I'm not a big GM guy, but a lot of the stuff that I do, it's either on the Equinox we had that I did a motor on, or this thing. I was actually going to trade this thing as is before I started tearing into it for a 2010 Silverado. That had a 6.2 in it. It was a 1500, had a camper shell, and was fairly clean for the most part. My buddy talked me out of it because one, it needed a motor. And 6.2s are not really easy to come by in a cheap sense. Um, yeah, they did. I think 2001 might have been the last year on the Camaro, and they come back in 2009. So there was a huge span, but it also not a lot of people were into big sports cars. You got to think Dodge did too. They kind of stepped away from the game. I think they brought the Charger back. I think around 2004. I can't remember. No, I can't remember on that aspect. But watching, especially like the NCIS series, watching the from the first episode all the way to the present and stuff, where they either had a contract with Dodge or something when they used those vehicles or something. But watching as like the newer seasons come out, they always had the like almost current model for that time frame. I love seeing that transition, stuff like that. But I think a lot of manufacturers, especially you know, that range, they were trying different things. Um, I think, let's see, they were out of the game. You're right. They were out of the game until the Magnum. I think the Magnum being like kind of a wagon setup, uh, and that's when they kind of did a spinoff or whatever, essentially for the Charger. I think they could, if they brought something similar back. I know they got like they brought back the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Um, I like the body style essentially. You're right. Actually, there's a gentleman that actually lives up the road that drives one of the Dodge Stealth vehicles. I think it's like a late '90s. Um, it's kind of like it mimics the Viper a little bit. I think a lot of people weren't necessarily going for the Viper, so that's why they kind of killed it off. They do have, from what I was reading on forums and stuff about a month ago, they have a Copperhead edition, which is like a um, kind of like the Viper and whatnot. But I gotta I gotta jump off here, guys. I got my wife needing some assistance, and I gotta go do a job for a buddy. But I appreciate all the support, you guys, and Aiden's world. I don't know what you're going through, bro. Um, Rick's man. I definitely check out if you got a channel and stuff. I'll definitely check it out. And then I might do a live tomorrow, depending on the weather. It's actually held out pretty decent today. But I appreciate you guys, and I hope this was somewhat entertaining. If not, I understand I'm not the most entertaining person in the world. I like sharing car content if I can, and I think Chevy did a decent job at the Traverses and stuff back in that era. But I think they could have done things a little bit differently, ran things plumbing wise, electrical, and all that stuff a little better. But I think most manufacturers can do a lot better than what they're doing today. And I'll have to do a walk around of like my current vehicles and whatnot, and kind of show you what we went to back in like the '90s to what we have today. I think that would be um, kind of do a comparison of how simple things were back in the day versus how complex they are for no reason, and spending way too much money on buying the vehicle versus what it was 20, 30 years ago. But I appreciate you guys. I'm signing off, and I'll figure out a way to save this video because the last couple of lives I've done, I don't know how to save them. I don't know if it's just me or if I'm just I got a couple screws loose. I'll tell you that. But I'll see you guys. Hopefully I do another live video if we can talk about like we're talking about, just not what I was actually working on. I do like the idea of talking about different makes and models and whatnot. It don't even have to be what I'm working on, or get in touch with you guys. I think that would be the most better situation, or better topic, than me just showing you why I hate this, or why I don't like this, or what that could have done better, because it doesn't change the facts. You still got to work on it. But I'll see you guys in the next one.